Welcome to Lochhead on Marketing, where we're trying the world's first marketing PodStorm. 30 days of strategies and ideas to help you create the future of your choosing. Hey ho, let's go. Thanks for pressing play. I sure am glad you are here. On this episode, let's talk about an execution strategy in marketing called lightning strikes. Because the reality is we are either part of the noise or we rise above the noise. And on this episode, let's talk about how, with the power of a marketing lightning strike, we can rise up. Now, my friends at Oracle NetSuite want to help you gain the visibility and control that you need. Go to netsuite.com/different today and pick up your free paper, Managing Business Uncertainty, and schedule your free product tour. That's netsuite.com/different. And my friends at Splunk are the category queens and kings of data to everything. And they want to help you bring data to every question, every decision, and every action. Go to Splunk, SPLUNK.com/D, the number 2E, as in data to everything. And my friends at Bottleneck Virtual Assistants want to help scale you. Go to bottleneck.online today to check out the power of a virtual assistant. All right, lightning strikes. It turns out that most marketing execution is predicated on an ancient idea called reach and frequency. And the theory is the more people who see your shit the more often, the more successful you're going to be. The reality is we get somewhere between 40 and 60,000 marketing messages a day, from logos on coffee cups to ads we see on TV to the internet and email and yada, yada, all of it, right? And so the reality is I don't think reach and frequency really works anymore. And so to combat that, there's this idea of a lightning strike, which is rather than peanut butter your marketing, it's to take a disproportionate amount of your marketing resources and execute in a very short period of time against a very small number of targets designed to produce the maximum result, get the maximum leverage. So let me read you a little bit from my first book, Play Bigger. We have a whole section in there on lightning strikes. Quote, a great lightning strike is a category defining event. It evangelizes a new problem or an old problem that can be solved in a new way. It tells the world this company knows how to define the problem and knows how to solve it. It makes potential customers believe that the company has the solution and makes the would-be competitors panic and call emergency board meetings. Incidentally, I love it when the competition has to have an emergency board meeting because we rocked them with our marketing. We go on to say in Play Bigger, a strike, an event or a coordinated series of events in a small window of time. It can take many forms. All right, so that at a high level is what a lightning strike is. So what could you do? Well, the first thing is I would encourage you to start thinking about a lightning strike now. What is something super creative, radically different that you could do to gain maximum attention in a minimum amount of time that would produce the most amount of near-term revenue? What's something that you could do, radically creative and different, maximum attention in the minimum amount of time to produce the most near-term revenue? That's really the critical idea behind a strike. And the concept comes actually from the movie industry. If you think about how films are launched, in the 2 weeks prior to a movie coming out, you have this escalating amount of marketing that happens heading into the weekend of the launch. And that's really what you're looking at is a short period of time. 2 weeks would be long, a week better, 3 or 4 days, 1 or 2 days, even better. Very, very tight. So what would you need to do if you wanted to do that? Number one, pick the timing. When would be a time that's going to work? And if we're one of the many companies right now on the planet that needs to produce revenue, that timing might be ASAP freaking right now. But pick a time where you think you have a chance to rise above that noise. Get super clear on your target audience. And I'm going to say something that's sort of a little crazy. Why stop now? make your target list as small as possible. Most marketing is about spreading shit as far as possible. This is about being as tight as possible. What you're looking for is leverage. You want to move your entire market category to action, but you're going to do that by activating a small amount of powerful, influential thought leaders in your category. The people my buddy Eddie Yoon calls super consumers. He actually wrote a book about super consumers. And the idea is a simple but very powerful one, which is there's roughly 10% of people in any market category who really are the big time users, big time influencers, and pay a lot of attention. And they set the tone. So in other words, if you can get their attention and imagination, and most importantly, get them talking, word of mouth is still the greatest marketing. And so with a strike, you're looking at how do we get super consumers attention such that they talk about us, adopt our point of view, and ultimately, of course, buy from us. So tight listed targets. And the objective is to, in a minimum amount of time, create fast, powerful, highly leveraged word of mouth. Now, when my friends at Splunk did this, they launched a new category. They centered their efforts on an invitation-only CEO event. They hired some key partners, some key customers to present, as well as a former president of the United States to be the keynote speaker. There were only a few hundred people at the time, but in the audience were not just customers and prospects, but also key industry influencers and the media. And so when they did the event, bam, there was this massive ripple effect. And that's what you're really looking for. And if you want more detail on that, go back and take a look at episode 57 of Lochhead on Marketing, which is a discussion with Splunk CMO Carrie Palin. Now, as you think about your own strike, think about all of the components of the marketing mix that you use: advertising, PR, web, social, SEO, paid search, direct mail. I love direct mail. We can still mail people shit. Of course, email is incredibly powerful. Podcasts, blogs. And so what you're really looking for is a healthy mix of what you might call air wars, the high level stuff, advertising, PR, podcasts, etc., and the ground war stuff to drive near-term revenue, direct mail, email, things that drive your funnel, right? So a successful strike has a good, healthy mix of air wars and ground wars, and pick a few of them that you can do legendarily well. I'd rather see you do 3 to 5 legendary marketing executions at the same time than try to do 15 or 25. Also, my friend, South Africa's #1 tech startup founder, Matt Brown, you can check him out, the Matt Brown Show podcast. He says that this sentence changed his entire business. Quote, "A lightning strike must overcome the noise." And what he's gone on to say is his startup, Digital Kung Fu, is accelerating at this time, despite C19. He says, quote, "largely due to the category we've created and this notion of executing with a lightning strike." I also want you to know this is not just for big companies or tech startups. It's also for smallie entrepreneurs. A few years ago, my friend Joey Wolf, who's the founder of Paradigm Sport, that's a local, spectacular local gym here in Santa Cruz, wanted to do a similar thing to move the needle. And so they got super creative. And the idea they had for a strike was essentially that in the health business, January tends to be a big time. People make a New Year's resolution to lose some weight, get in shape, etc., and they join a gym. So he did an event called New Year's Day in September, and it was purpose-built to encourage his existing clients to bring friends to the gym. He partnered with other local businesses, so that multiplied the power of what he was doing and created a set of activities around this idea of New Year's Day in September to drive subscriptions early. And sort of the point of view was, hey, sort of get with the program before the holiday season, and you'll start the new year off on a good foot type of thing. And so for a very small amount of money, with a creative idea, Joey was able to kind of move the needle and drive some near-term revenue and visibility for Paradigm Sport. So whether you're a big-time public company or whether you're a small entrepreneur, the concept of a strike can work for you to rise above the noise. So I encourage you to start thinking lightning strikes, get planning, and get ready to strike. All right. We would like to thank the good folks at Atranet. They've been building B2B websites in Silicon Valley for over 20 years. Check out atre.net. My friends at Socrates.ai want to help you get employee awesome. Today, employees have more questions and concerns than ever before. Socrates is a digital conversation hub. Imagine being able to talk or text in your phone any HR-related question and instantly get an answer. That's awesome, employee awesome, and that's Socrates. Also, if you want to understand legendary marketing copy, Cole Schaefer, I think, is one of the greatest young up-and-coming copywriters in the marketing world. Check out his website, honeycopy.com. That's honeycopy.com, and register for his legendary, absolutely awesome newsletter. If you're in Ireland, do legendary marketing with my friends at Fusion, FUZION.IE in Ireland. All right, I need to remind you that today's information is provided to you solely for informational purposes, and the creators of this podcast may have been consuming libations. We are produced and edited by living podcast legend Jason DeFilippo. You can check out his podcast, Grumpy Old Geeks. It's awesome. Speaking of awesome, technical awesomeness, Lochhead.com and much more done by Sarah Knox and Jamie J. Show notes by Diane Gervasio, and scheduling and general legendariness by Candy Dandy. The thought I'll leave you with comes from Archimedes, who said, "Give me a lever long enough and a fulcrum on which to place it, and I shall move the world." All right, stay healthy, stay legendary, and until we're together again, please follow your different.